What is up, guys? And we are back with another video. So today we're going to be doing something a little different. I want to compare Albedo's damage with Fischl, okay? But before I begin, I gotta put some disclaimers out there, you know, because I know people are going to be complaining in the comments about random stuff. But so make sure to listen to this, right? The only thing I'm going to be comparing is Albedo's E damage and Fischl's E damage, okay? We're not going to be comparing their burst. We're not going to be comparing what they provide in terms of other things as supports, right? We're just going to be comparing their E damage numbers because their E abilities are very similar, right? Basically what they do is they throw out their bird, for Albedo, his little flower. Every couple seconds it does damage. Okay, but the thing with Fischl is it's a lot faster. But the thing with Albedo's is it lasts a lot longer. Okay, and it has a shorter cooldown. So we're going to see how much of a difference that actually makes. Okay, also, we have to look at their stats we're working with, okay? He has around 2,100 defense because we're only looking at E ability, whereas Fischl has about 2,200 attack. In terms of weapons, Fischl is using a 5-star weapon, and Albedo is using the Harbinger of Dawn. Okay, while testing, we're not going to be looking at their crit damage number. We're going to be looking at their non-crit number because their crit damage is different, 127 versus 150. I don't want the variance to be a lot, so that's why we're going to be looking at the non-crit number. And we're going to be looking at it over a period of 12 seconds. You're probably wondering why 12 seconds, right? The complete cooldown for Oz, or Fischl's E ability, is 25 seconds total. Of those 25 seconds, 12 seconds is how long Oz is out for, and the remaining 13 seconds, Fischl is dealing no extra damage, okay? And then Albedo, on the other hand, his E is always out because the cooldown is so short. So that means in the same 25 seconds, Albedo would be still continuously dealing damage compared to Fischl, who stops after 12. So we're going to look at two different comparisons. We're going to see how much damage they do in the initial 12 seconds and then how much damage they do for the total duration of 25 seconds, okay? Albedo is only talent level 6 on everything, and he's only C2. Whereas my Fischl, since she's C6, she has a talent level 9 on Knight Rider, which is her E ability. Okay, so that means Fischl does have an advantage in the E department, but at the same time, my Fischl isn't built optimally because an optimal build will include Thunderbird's Mercy, right? But unfortunately, I don't have a full set completely leveled, so I just got together my best artifacts for her to boost her attack as much as possible. That's why her attack is so high. So those are all the variables. I just listed them out, but we're only looking at the E damage numbers and the non-crit numbers. So let's go ahead and jump into the testing. And also, guys, before we begin, I just want to reiterate this because a lot of people miss this isn't who's a better support, right? Because there's so much other things that both of them provide that we're not covering in this video. All we're looking at right now is their E damage numbers. 5,381 and 2,050. Okay, but the thing with Fischl's E ticks, they happen every second. So let's say over 12 seconds we hit non-crit every single time, right? Let's put that number up on screen right now. The number on screen right now is going to be 29,981, right? So what this is, it's including the initial E and then the 2,000 per tick for 12 seconds, right? So the total damage she's doing in 12 seconds is 29,981. Now, before we move on to Albedo, one thing we have to keep in mind, which is a pro for Fischl, is she's an electro unit, and her Oz is doing electro damage. So what that means is, with another unit like Bennett, she can trigger elemental reactions, which will do an additional elemental damage. So let's go ahead and figure that out as well. Without elemental reactions, she is doing 29,981 or 30,000 just to be simple. Okay, I want to see how much it hits for. So 1,547. So realistically, guys, you're not going to be able to get an elemental reaction off every single second. You're going to like miss here and there because of like just the waiting period and all that stuff. But let's just say hypothetically everything goes according to plan and everything is perfect. How much damage are you doing? So now let's put that number up on screen for the duration of 12 seconds, which again is the same duration Oz is out for at C6. So now that we have that number up on screen, you guys can see it's doing 48,545 damage over 12 seconds. Which is pretty crazy considering this is all non-crit damage. Obviously in application, in battle, it's going to be different because some battles are longer, some battles are shorter, and you're going to be busy dodging, and there's so much extra stuff. But we're just saying everything goes according to plan, and also, oh my god, it's golden hour. Look how beautiful Bennett looks. Anyway, what was I saying? Over 12-second duration, Fischl is doing 48,545, including elemental reactions, if hypothetically you got it to go off every second, which is, again, highly unlikely, but we're giving her the benefit of the doubt. Now let's look at Albedo. We're going to do the same thing, but we have to keep in mind, Albedo ticks every 2 seconds instead of every second. So 2096 non-crit, and 4,397. Initial E application non-crit Albedo hit 2096. And then per tick, he hits 4,397, which is around double of what Fischl hits. But again, Albedo only does it every 2 seconds compared to Fischl, who does it every second. So now if we were to extrapolate that over 12 seconds, just like we did for Fischl, the damage we would be doing over 12 seconds is 28,478. So a little less than what Fischl was doing without elemental reactions, okay? Because Fischl was doing 29,000. I have the numbers up on screen so you guys can see, right? Now if we put the number up where Fischl was doing elemental reactions, she's way ahead of Albedo in those 12 seconds, right? She's doing almost 50,000, whereas Albedo is doing almost 30,000. So which is a pretty big difference. So what is this showing, right? This is showing that in the first 12 seconds where Oz is out, he is going to be out DPSing Albedo. And this is with elemental reactions. But also keep in mind, my Fischl has talent level 9, whereas Albedo does not. These numbers, give and take, will vary, because Fischl can be built even better if I give her the Electro set, but I don't. But at the same time, Albedo is using a 3-star weapon, and he has lower talent levels, and he's only C2. So the numbers could vary. In order to get the most accurate numbers possible, I would have to like completely max out Albedo, and at the same time completely farm out and max out Fischl. But I don't think I want to invest that many resources into Fischl right now, so I'm just going to go off of what I have. I think the conclusion would be similar, whereas Fischl will outperform Albedo in those initial first 12 seconds, how long Oz lasts. But now we have to take into consideration, Fischl stops after 12 seconds, right? After 12 seconds, Oz disappears and she's no longer providing any damage, whereas Albedo is continually providing damage. So now let's take in consideration the whole 25-second duration. And remember, the 25 seconds is how long it takes for Fischl to use Oz and then for Oz to come back. So now let's put up numbers on screen for their total damage output over the 25-second period. So instead of having his numbers remain the same like Fischl does, his numbers actually increase. Over 25 seconds, Albedo is doing almost 55,000 damage. And keep in mind, this is all non-crit numbers. This is going to be way higher when you have, if we were to account for crit, but since their crit is different, we're not going to account for that. So he's doing 55,000 damage almost over a 25-second period, whereas Fischl, even with elemental reactions, is barely reaching 50. So what's the conclusion of all this, right? At least the conclusion I have from all these numbers and from the testing that we performed today is Fischl's initial damage burst is much higher than Albedo's because A, she provides elemental reactions, and B, she's doing it more often than Albedo is. But the con for Fischl is her cooldown is way longer, right? Her cooldown is 25 seconds, whereas Albedo's is always up since it's only like 4 seconds long, right? So over a longer period of time, anything over 12 seconds, Albedo is outperforming Fischl, even without elemental reactions. So my takeaway from this is like, so kind of what I expected, right? Fischl is still such a great support unit because of like just the amount of damage she's providing. But over time, Albedo is going to start outscaling her because his lasts longer and has a shorter cooldown. And also keep in mind, there's going to be other variables that go into this that are going to change the numbers ever so slightly. And that's being Fischl's better artifact set, increasing like the reaction damage and her electro damage. But at the same time, Albedo has less talent levels and he's using a 3-star weapon compared to Fischl's 5-star legendary weapon. And Albedo has split scaling. What I mean by that is Albedo's E damage, like his initial application, scales off attack, and the rest scales off defense. But Fischl just scales off of attack, nothing else. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video, guys. I just wanted to give you guys a quick like overview of how Fischl and Albedo compare to each other. And again, this is only their E ability, not everything else. Their burst is very different. What they provide as supports is very different. That's something for a different video. This is just comparing their E abilities because their E abilities are very similar in terms of how they work, right? Yeah, and if you guys just skip to the end, the conclusion is over time, Albedo does more damage, but in short bursts, Fischl does more damage. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video, guys. Let me know what you guys think. It was pretty cool doing this because it's always cool to compare characters that most people aren't comparing, giving you guys perspective compared to different characters and how they perform. And that's what this video was about, right? So let me know what you guys think down below. That's pretty much it for this video, guys. Just a quick comparison between Fischl and Albedo's E ability. And yeah, see you guys.